Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, and those with non-genders, let's take a moment of silence for the greatest immersive entertainment complex that is never going to exist, the Ghostbusters Entertainment Center. A moment of silence. Okay, moment of silence over. What am I talking about? What is the Ghostbusters Entertainment Center, and who am I? My name is AC McRae. I am a creative businessman is what I like to call myself. I work in a lot of creative avenues. I create concepts. I do marketing. I do things that are interesting to get people into the worlds that they love and care about. And for me, there's nothing that I love and care about more than the classic 1984 film Ghostbusters and the Ghostbusters franchise. Something I've loved since a child. It got me through so much childhood trauma, stuff I don't want to go into here. But that film and those four guys were there for me, and just taught me so many life lessons through a paranormal comedy. And I know a lot of people get a lot of things out of film, but I take a lot of personal things out of film. And that film taught me so many things, that I could be smart and witty like Egon. I could have the tools and the talent like Winston. I could be a sarcastic asshole like Peter. Or I could be the heart and soul and really push my ideas to the forefront like Ray. All things I've carried throughout my life. So as I got out of high school, I started to design this complex. I won't say design at that point. I'll say just come up with the ideas and talk about it a little bit, all stemming from the idea of, I love laser tag, but what if you combine laser tag with my other love of Ghostbusters, and you actually pull the proton pack and it's your laser tag gun, and you're walking around doing that and playing a game. And for me, that evolved into something far more than I would ever have imagined. A 14-year passion project for me that unfortunately, as of today, June 23rd, 2023, has come to an end. On a personal level, I'm very bummed. Again, I love Ghostbusters. I love the franchise. I love my idea, which I'm going to be sharing here in a moment. But it's something that was just not meant to be. And that's okay. Not all business things work out. As a businessman, I absolutely understand the decisions and everything like that. But since it's not going forward, I want to share my vision, because there's no official announcement of anything else out there. I don't have a clue. I want to very, very strongly state, I do not have a clue what Sony has planned with their Ghostbusters brand. All I know is that my idea is too similar to other ideas that they have currently in place, which I'm assuming that means contracted or at least in the development stages. Things that are going to happen. I have no idea what those things are, and I am not even going to speculate or anything. All I'm doing in this video is just sharing my ideas. Sony owns all the rights to Ghostbusters, Ghost Corps, all that stuff. These are just ideas that I came up with because at the time I was a young businessman, didn't really know a lot, and didn't have any real experience. So my idea was to design this attraction first and then proceed to try and get the licensing. When in reality, I should have taken this idea to them at their licensing department back at the time, because I've been trying to do this since Ghostbusters was just, I don't want to say a dead brand, but a brand that people weren't really paying attention to at the time. So this was my way to keep it alive, pre-reboot, pre-Afterlife, any of that stuff. But again, Sony owns all the rights. They have not approved of this video. They have not denied this video. And at this point, I'm just sharing an idea that I personally had. I do not believe Sony stole my idea or any of their people stole my idea, simply because I've saved every email and every person's name that I've spoken to and business name that I've spoken to on this project over a 14-year period. Those are a very small handful of people. So if any of them are involved, then I would be a little upset. But I don't believe any of them are. I believe it's just simply great minds thinking alike, and people had a similar idea to what I had. So without further ado, I'm going to explain to you what I had in mind for the Ghostbusters Training Center and kind of how I got to the current iteration, which is all I'm going to kind of give is the current iteration of what I had and presented to Eric at Ghost Corps, their Senior Vice President of Brand Management, is who I was speaking with. So obviously he has the power to say, we're going to kill this, and that's what happened. He was very cool about it. If you guys like this idea and you say, oh man, I wish that would have happened, I hate Sony, please don't hate Sony. Support Ghostbusters, support the brand, support whatever they do. Go out there, because this is something that needs to go to the next generation, in my opinion. So, you know, let's all work together to make sure Ghostbusters has a future. That's really all I was trying to do. So I started this again after high school. I graduated in 2001, and that first idea came what if I played laser tag and had a proton pack instead of a space gun or something? What if I could pull the stick and then be there and battle in those familiar locations, be it the Sedgwick or Spook Central or whatnot? And this all stems from that idea. So I started just kind of pitching out little ideas to my ex-wife at the time and to a couple friends. They said, yeah, sounds great. Try and do it. And so I never really started writing anything down, just kept it in my back pocket, didn't really do anything until about 2010. I started actually designing what I thought the building should and would look like. And I'm going to get into that here in a moment. But I thought it was going to be a great, fun little thing. And then it just grew this monstrous thing and then shrank back down to something more feasible. Several times I had to walk away. It wasn't like it was a 14-year everyday project or anything. It was 14 years as a hobby project until the last probably 4 or 5 years I've gotten really serious on it. My son passing away, other things going on. I could not give all of my time to that. But I did put a lot of work into it. And then again, during the pandemic, pre-pandemic, I will say that I did reach out to and have the emails where I spoke to Eric from Ghost Corps before he was with Ghost Corps. He was still Montecito Picture Company at that time, I believe. At least that's the contact I had at the time. I don't think Ghost Corps was fully formed yet, as far as the new iteration as it is now, post-reboot and pre-Afterlife. Again, all speculation on my part. I have no business dealings behind the scenes with Sony or anything besides a few emails that I've exchanged over the years. But when I gave it to him pre-pandemic, didn't get the same response, didn't hear that anybody was working on anything, didn't hear anything was bad, was just told through their licensing department, not him directly, hey, you know, check out one of these people, see if you can come up with something with them, and then try and, you know, if they're interested, they'll reach out then. They're meeting their licensing department through Sony. And I talked to this ride developer, but what I was doing wasn't really a ride, so they didn't really get it. Plus, nobody had really done immersive en masse yet. There had been, I mean, haunted houses have been immersive for years, but other than that, there wasn't really immersive attractions per se yet. Meow Wolf was beginning, and that's kind of, in my mind, what started that whole immersive trend. And I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to take people into the world of Ghostbusters because that means so much to me. So, pre-pandemic, that's what happened. Spoke to Eric then, and it was kind of kicked over to marketing. No big deal. Pandemic happens. That shut down all hope for any sort of facility. And then probably partway through the pandemic is when I really said, you know what? If this pandemic ever ends, I want people to get back out and have fun. And to me, again, the Ghostbusters brand was what was fun to me and what was meaningful. So I went to work redesigning and reshaping what I had. I actually had a version based on the Ghostbusters World mobile app that would tie into the mobile app before it was eventually canceled. That's not the version that exists today. As the version exists today, I'm going to give you now a peek into what I had in mind for the, I won't say canceled because it was never official. There was never any agreements in place. I was trying to work with them to get something, and we got to a point where we couldn't go any further. Again, no hard feelings whatsoever. So if you will, just imagine standing on a representation of a New York City street. Parking lot's behind you, and as you're staring in front of you, to your far right, you see a skyscraper-looking building. Not a skyscraper, but a facade of a large building looking like the Dana Barrett building, Spook Central from Ghostbusters. Right outside of that is a large outdoor park area, recreation area, themed after Central Park, having a lot of those same iconic areas. That's going to be featured as part of a play area for one of the games later. Then, right in front of you, the centerpiece, the iconic, beautiful centerpiece. I know the geography is wrong, but it's a complex, so hey, give me some leniency here. Is the iconic Hook and Ladder 8, the Ghostbusters firehouse, in all its glory, full-size facade. And, you know, people can take the pictures outside, they can have the photo ops, and it would be fantastic. Next to it, in that little alcove that you always see right outside to the left of the doors, I turned that into ticket booth, so there was no ticket booth space inside. Themed it after the Broadway TKTS booth in New York City. I thought that would be a cool little nod to New York City. And then next to it would be Raise a Cult. I kind of swiped that idea from the recent Spirits Unleashed video game to make it more convenient. Raise a Cult would be functioning as a gift shop and paranormal equipment shop, actually. Inside, you'd walk in through the doors of the firehouse. That would be the main entrance, and you would see an exact replica recreation, only slightly bigger, of the firehouse. You've got the lockers, you've got the poles, you've got a replica Ecto-1 or a shell, because I know those are very hard to find, right there in front of you. You've got Janine's desk is actually bigger. It's the info desk. Behind that is Peter's office, all spaces for photo ops. I even thought it would be cool to have a Vigo the Carpathian painting, like an interactive digital one, off to the side like there was in the 2009 Ghostbusters video game, and Vigo could insult people, or you could, put in $1 and Vigo will insult you or something. I thought that would be cool, just a little nod to, Ghostbusters lore and history. But on the first floor, you get in there, you go to the info desk, and then right behind Peter's office, there's a check-in for the first game, which I created, which was the radio frequency tag proton pack game. Now, if you've ever been to like a Magic Quest location where they have those wands, or Universal where they have the wands with Harry Potter, and you go and you whip it at something, and then something happens, it's the exact same concept, only with Ghostbusters theming. You literally take the proton gun, which you buy as your main piece to play this game, and you go around to these things. You try to find them. Now, if you want to make finding them easier, you pay the extra money for the PKE meter. If you want to be able to keep a record at home of digital trading cards of all the ghosts you've caught, you get a little USB ghost trap that'll plug right into your wand. But you go around and you just simply fire your wand, and you fire it at a location. Sometimes a ghost will pop up. Sometimes something will just move. Because one thing that I've found going to museums and doing touring attractions and things is kids in this generation can be very impressed by RIFID technology when it comes to making something mechanical happen. My kids are just amazed by that. And it's just cheap parlor tricks. And it'd be fun, and it would fit the brand. You can also buy like an actual proton pack attachment with a little cord to go to your gun if you just want to have the whole feel. It's both for adults and kids. So you've got all sorts of opportunity to play, both in the firehouse, in the basement of the firehouse, on the second floor of the firehouse, and then out in the Central Park area and the subterranean subway/River of Slime area. So you're really there in New York City, basically battling ghosts as part of this game. That would be a cheaper game. Again, there's basically microtransactions where you can add on parts and pieces. If there's an upgrade in the films and people want to have one based on that, you can either upgrade the parts or upgrade the piece itself. You can attach pieces, reattach pieces, making it similar to the lightsaber stations at Disney for the Star Wars stuff that they've done. But really, it's just microtransactions, but there's ways to play the game and to have fun with it. So I thought that would be a really cool thing. So that's one game. That would take place on the first floor. Again, photo ops everywhere. There's actually the pole, since everyone wants to slide down the pole, and there's really no way to do that safely in today's day and age. So why not do a platform looking like the one from the Ghostbusters Firehouse Kenner toy that's just a red platform. Somebody gets in there, and it's just a pneumatic powered, drops you down, goes back up to the top. Somebody gets on that, you strap them in, and they go down holding the pole. It's just a fun little thing to do for a couple bucks. This whole facility has microtransactions throughout. And I know that's a dirty word, but in business, cash is cash, and you have to make cash to survive. So I filled the place with microtransactions while at the same time making it affordable for families who want to come and do something on a budget. Because I know, like my family, we have a hard time going anywhere. Even to go to the water park, it's almost $200. It's just a lot of stuff. So we tried to keep things affordable for families, but adding microtransactions for those who want to spend a little bit more to have that little bit different of an experience. But that was the first game I created, was just that radio-controlled frequency game. It would have been cool out in the Central Park area, too, because you could have had like the fountain at night change colors to look like slime or bubble like slime or something. You could have had literally gone down a slide into the subterranean area, going to use Pepper Ghost projection to project the train thing like in Ghostbusters 2. Have some of the heads on spikes that could just bounce up and down. Just little stupid things. Just that would be fun. Families could do. Dads could do with their kids. And it would just be so much fun. But there would be like a river of slime downstairs too. And you could get some of the ghosts in there. I thought that would be a really cool experience. So that's the radio frequency game. The laser tag game. You go through Central Park and you go over to the Spook Central building. that is obviously not going to be as tall as it is in the film, but a visual representation of that. You see the Temple of Gozer up top. You see, you know, it looking like it's battle time. And so you go in and you get your briefing. I was going to have briefing videos, hopefully done by all the different members of the cast, put nowhere online, no cell phones in here at all. So it was very exclusive. You wanted to see what they were saying, what jokes they were making. You'd have to come check that out. And it would be everybody from new cast to old cast and everything back and forth. And even maybe some celebrity people just giving the rules, just to kind of make it fun for everybody. You strap on your proton pack, which is your laser tag gun. You have on the front a Ghostbusters logo. Since you can't obviously have just a clip there, you're gonna have to have a sensor on the front. So you have a giant Ghostbusters logo as your sensor. The pack on your back is a clear shell, the way they have the clear material now. And then, of course, your wand is your gun. It makes it convenient for two hands because everybody wants to hold it two hands to shoot. So you wouldn't even need to have like a sensor to make sure you have two hands on it, because everybody's going to hold their neutrino wand the same way, in my opinion. That's what I thought anyway. But you're let in through either Mr. Tully's apartment or Ms. Barrett's apartment. And then you go in there, either upstairs or a ramp, depending, because all these things are very handicap accessible. A lot of rampage throughout, a lot of handicap accessibility. Since I have a handicapped child, wanted him to be able to experience this event too, if it ever happened. But you go in through the apartments, the stairs, where do they go? They go up. You go up, and you are on the rooftop during the Battle of Gozer. There'd be a holographic Gozer in the middle, animatronic terror dogs in a couple places, and you're literally on the roof. Infinity mirror tech would be used to show, like, if you look over the edge right at the walls, you could see it going straight down, so you feel like you're up on a rooftop. You walk around, you blast things. There would be a big digital projection dome. It would be domed in this part, where the sky would be looking like the sky was in the movies, like the churning clouds and everything. And that would also allow for, on the sides, you could have Stay Puft projected to pop up at some point during the game, who you could shoot for extra points. At the end of the game, instead of there just being a siren that says, hey, everybody come back inside, come on, come back inside, whatever, game's over, you actually, you know, hear something like cross the streams. You hear Egon's voice. And you go, everybody goes to the middle, and you all cross the streams to defeat Gozer. And it's the little, like, 30-second thing you do at the end of the game to defeat Gozer. It makes you feel like you won. And then the Ghostbusters theme plays as you triumphantly walk back in to take your pack off and go get your scorecard. You can shoot ghosts in there for extra points and just have a fun time doing it. But I thought that would be epic to just battle in a laser tag arena set on the top of Spook Central. That was the idea that this whole thing stemmed from, and I just kept developing from there. But that would be all that's in that building. Back in the main building, in the basement, of course, pictures with the containment unit. Photo op is great there. You want to, you know, put a trap in the containment unit and, you know, pull the thing. Occasionally you have it shut down to freak some kids out. But then there's a game down there called Containment Crisis, which was basically a laser maze, 3 of them side by side. And this is not your typical laser maze where you have a time to go through without, you know, touching the beams, hit the button, and then go back through. No, no, no. This is, you're going to be timed at 5 minutes. You and 3 other people are racing. You go through there, you get through the beams, you get to the back of the containment unit, and then you have to solve a puzzle before you turn around and go back through the beams. Once you do that, you know, you're first, second, or third, and whoever wins gets like a little, you know, resin 3D printed ghost, like there used to be in the plasma, ectoplasm in the 80s. Just a fun little thing, a little game to add, again, another transaction or something to do. Thought that would be a really cool thing. Also in the basement, if you wanted to make the basement bigger, you could have a walkthrough, like 3D haunt, and I use that term loosely, but it would be a more family-friendly thing themed as after the real Ghostbusters. That was kind of optional to my idea, but I just thought it would be cool to have all those bright colors and those characters with like 3D glasses as you're walking through, and a few animatronic scares through there as well. You go back up to the main floor. Like I said, you've got Peter's office photo op, the Vigo thing. In the back, there's an area where you walk past there. There's restrooms, and then there's a recreation of Tavern on the Green that goes out into the Central Park area. That is your food. That is your restaurant, a full functioning restaurant here in this Ghostbusters Training Center, themed after Tavern on the Green, of course, with probably even you know, every now and then you have Louis Tully run up to a window, bang on it, and, you know, whoever you have playing him for your facility, make it funny. But then to the right of that, you would have a large arcade area and VR area featuring the new Ghostbusters VR and a full arcade of retro and new games with a redemption center, all the typical things you see in an arcade. Lots of Ghostbusters things there, some of the old Ghostbusters arcade games, and just kids love arcades these days. You retro theme the heck out of it in the Stranger Things type of way, tipping the hat to that as it tipped the hat to Ghostbusters, and it would be just a fun little thing for kids to do. The next thing you do on the second floor, you go up to the second floor, you have a recreation of the second floor of the firehouse, more photo ops, the pool table with the dancing toaster, everything just perfect for photo ops. You also have an area up there over the top of R.I.P books, which I'll get back to that in a few moments. You get over the top of that and you have escape rooms. You have one themed after 1984, which is Slimer at the Sedgwick. You have one themed after Ghostbusters 2, which is the, what was that one? That was the Scoleri Brothers Courtroom Objection. And then you have either a room based on the real Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2016. Not my place to judge. I have opinions, but that's not for this video, because everybody deserves to have whatever Ghostbusters iteration they want, which is why the option is there to include either or. And then a fourth escape room, and these are about half-hour escape rooms, not full hours. The other one themed after Ghostbusters Afterlife, Muncher's Metal Madness, set in the factory setting of Ghostbusters Afterlife. You'd have those 4 escape rooms running, again, microtransactions, things of that nature. Let's go down below that again to R.I.P Books, which again, I said is the gift shop, the bookstore, all sorts of Ghostbusters merch, replica proton packs, replica flight suits, both low end and ones that have to be ordered through Magnolia Clothiers. I'm saying it fancy, but yeah, stuff like that. You can just order your flight suit. You could make your own slime. Kids love to make their own slime. You could do a little thing for as little as $1 or $2, or expensive ones for big vials of slime, either using like more traditional recipes or possibly the movie recipe for slime, so people can take some of that home. Also down there was going to be actual paranormal gear for sale based on the gadgets of the Ghostbusters. The PKE meter was going to be an EMF detector. REM pod was going to be a ghost trap. I believe the Neutronal wand I had is like a laser grid thing on a stand. Just a few ideas like that. But I wanted that to serve as both a paranormal supply shop and a gift shop with a little lecture area in the book section. So if anybody paranormal wants to come in, do a small demonstration or event, you could do that as well. Back up on the second floor, there's also on the right side, I forgot to mention this, an adults only lounge, like a balcony lounge that's enclosed, and lounge and bar, I should say. I'm not a drinker, but I know some are. Call it at Peter's Pub, right over the edge, looking over Central Park. So adults can have a chance to relax while their kids are out playing if they didn't want to, hang around, do anything else, blah, 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 whatever. Third floor would be set simply as the brownstone from Ghostbusters 2, party rooms and event space for the entire third floor. And then outside there was also going to be what I called the Ecto test track, which was not just replica Ecto go-karts, but replica Ecto 1 go-karts, replica 1A go-karts, replica Ectos from the Ghostbusters, Real Ghostbusters cartoon and other cartoons, from other movies, from other things that they could come up with, because that again is toyetic and monetizable. And you can turn those into little figurines. You can turn those into little cards that you can sell at that place. You can have little special edition patches you sell at R.I.P. All things tying into the main theme. But you have restaurants, you have laser tag, you have go-karts, you have an arcade, you have a radio frequency game where you actually get to be a Ghostbuster and track ghosts around the firehouse in Central Park, and just little Easter eggs and photo ops everywhere. Again, microtransactions galore. I want to make it affordable for everybody, but have things available for the people like me who want to buy everything as well. The initial idea, I'd talk to investors, I'd talk to other people before I talked to Sony, so that's kind of why I should have talked to them first when I first had this idea, and unfortunately I didn't, and this is the point we're at, where I just get to share my idea, you get to hear it, and it may not be the best idea, it may be worse than what they come up with. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with, because I'm just glad somebody's doing it. this is the kind of stuff I create. Immersive concepts, especially based on film and TV. I love the challenge of doing that. And I have another property that I'm going to actually reach out to next week. Warner Brothers property, actually. And see if they might be interested in an attraction, because I have a good idea, a good concept for that one as well that I've been working on. So going to see what I can do there. But as of right now, the Ghostbusters Training Center, where everybody can be a Ghostbuster, is officially no more. On a personal level, I am bummed. Like I said, after 14 years of working on something that you really believe in, to hear that it can't go forward, it really bums me out. Ghostbusters has meant so much to me over the years, and it sucks to fail, but fail again, fail better, keep going. That's the lesson of all this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one. I hope you enjoy hearing about the concept after all this time. And there's other things in there that I'm not mentioning here and there. But that was the overarching concept. I had actually even found the perfect place for it in either Las Vegas or Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Vegas would probably be more apt. But hey, things happen. We can't win them all. And until next time, just keep on busting. So big thank you to the folks at Ghost Corps who humored me and at least heard me out. I really appreciate you guys over all this time. And I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Please hire me for the future. What? Some voices in here. It must be a ghost. Even with my mouth moving, it's crazy. But anyways, I just wanted to say, don't worry about failure. Failure happens to us all. Thomas Edison found 200 ways not to make a light bulb. He didn't fail 200 times. I just found one way not to make an immersive complex. It's all right. I hope they're going to keep doing it. Talk to you next time.